Revealed, how a nurse's unexpected blind date with a single dad CEO changed their lives forever. Katie stood in the middle of the community charity event, her heart racing not just from the excitement in the air, but from the crushing weight of her responsibilities. As the laughter floated around her, a painful reminder of her struggles hit her again. She was a dedicated nurse in a busy Denver hospital, pouring her heart into every patient. But at night, the cares of the world wrapped around her like a heavy blanket, especially with her mother's recent diagnosis weighing on her soul. It felt like her friends were seizing the world with both hands, growing careers, luxurious lifestyles, the perfect families. All she had was a life that felt too small, with bills piling up and a sinking sense of inadequacy. Then, out of nowhere, her neighbor nudged her toward him. "Katie, I want you to meet Alex." He beamed. He was handsome, with a charming smile that lit up the dark corners of the room. As they sat down for an awkward dinner, they began to connect over shared laughter, and in that moment, the world felt lighter. It was a flicker of hope, a chance at something that could be beautiful. But just as quickly, the shadows returned. Alex spoke about his tech startup. The stress was palpable, he struggled under the weight of uncertainty as an economic downturn loomed over his dreams. Katie felt an odd kinship with him, two people on a tightrope of expectations, one trying to establish himself, the other holding steady for her family. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As their conversation flowed, Katie's colleagues exchanged glances filled with judgment. It stung, hard, like a sharp needle. How could they comprehend her choices? She wore her scrubs like armor, but the whispers cut deeper than the harshest words. A settled life as a nurse, they said, offered no prestige. Then, just as that sweet connection with Alex began to flourish, his estranged daughter unexpectedly showed up at his door, heartbroken and lost. The turmoil in Alex's eyes mirrored Katie's, a painful realization of past mistakes that neither of them had time to deal with. Surrounded by the chaos of life's expectations, they were left grappling with their insecurities. The torn family brought them closer even as old wounds reopened. Could the warmth of new love blossom amidst the ruins of lingering regrets? Just when it felt like hope was within reach, a wave of uncertainty crashed over both of them. As tensions rose in their small town over Alex's tech woes and Katie's perceived choices, the community gathered, voices blending into a debate about true worth. Both staring down at their lives, questions loomed. Was it possible for a nurse and a corporate CEO to redefine their measures of success and forge a future together? They were on the brink, in a world filled with judgment. Could they find acceptance in each other's arms, or would the weight of past mistakes tear their fragile connection apart before it even began? The next day, the morning sun spilled into Katie's cramped apartment, illuminating the dust motes dancing lazily in the air. She sat at the small kitchen table, nursing a cup of coffee, her mind tangled in thoughts of Alex. His warm laughter echoed in her ears, but so did the weight of his daughter's unexpected arrival. It felt like a beautifully wrapped gift had been torn open, revealing the jagged edges of reality beneath. Could she truly step into a world where family ties meant navigating uncharted waters? Katie glanced at her phone, the notifications from her colleagues buzzing relentlessly. She hesitated before opening a group chat filled with chatter about the latest gossip. She knew it would only fuel the doubts. They wouldn't understand how Alex's struggles mirrored her own, the sacrifices they both made behind the smiles they wore to the public. A knock at her door jolted her back to reality. It was her neighbor, a cheerful lady named Ruth, who had a knack for sensing when Katie needed a friend. "Hey, I thought we could go for a walk in the park. You look like you could use some sunshine." Ruth's friendly smile brought a small spark of warmth to Katie's heart. "Sure, why not?" Katie replied, forcing a smile, desperate for distraction. They strolled under the blossoming trees, each step muffling the doubts that nagged at her. The air was thick with the scent of spring, and for a moment, the world felt alive. "What are you thinking about?" Ruth asked, side-eyeing her with a knowing glance. Katie paused, debating whether to open up. "It's just. I met someone, and it's complicated. He has a daughter who needs him." She found herself pouring out her heart, explaining her fears about getting involved with someone who had so much on his plate. Ruth nodded thoughtfully. "You know, life is messy. No one has it all figured out, but you also can't shut yourself off from happiness. What if he is just as lost as you are?" Those words hung in the air, and Katie's heart quickened. Ruth was right. Maybe they could heal together, despite the chaos. Later that evening, after a long shift at the hospital, Katie made her way home, her heart pounding a little faster as she remembered Alex. She hesitated, her hand hovering over her phone. Should she reach out or wait for him to make the next move? Finally, she pressed his contact, her fingers trembling as she composed a message. "Hey, I've been thinking about you. How are you holding up?" She hit send, waiting for a response that felt like a hopeful thread in the air. Minutes felt like hours. Then, her phone buzzed. Alex's name lit up the screen, and she held her breath. "Hey. Trying to figure it all out. How about you?" Katie's heart danced with possibility as they chatted back and forth, sharing laughs and vulnerabilities. For the first time in weeks, the feeling of frustration and anxiety began to melt away, replaced by a warmth she hadn't allowed herself to feel in a long while. But as Katie settled into bed that night, a wave of doubt washed over her. Did someone like her even belong in Alex's chaotic world? And what about the fears lingering like shadows? The answers felt just out of reach, and the looming question echoed in her mind: could love really navigate through all this mess? As she drifted off to sleep, one thought consumed her: tomorrow could change everything. Would she find the courage to step fully into this unpredictable journey, or would fear hold her back? The dawn broke softly, hues of orange and pink spilling across the sky, as Katie pushed herself out of bed, all too aware of the weighty thoughts that waited for her. She had promised herself that today would be different. As she washed her face and prepared for work, she replayed the conversation with Alex in her mind. His vulnerability had drawn her toward him, like a moth to the flame. Yet here she was, still reluctant to step into the warmth that could pull her out of the shadows. At the hospital, the halls buzzed with energy. Nurses moved in a flurry, patients received care, and laughter bounced off the walls, a stark contrast to the chaos in her head. Each patient she saw, each life she could help, reminded her of why she had chosen this path. But behind every smile knitted into her duty lurked the uncertainty surrounding her and Alex. "Hey, Katie. Earth to you." Melanie, her best friend and fellow nurse, teased as she waved a hand in front of her face. "Oh, sorry," Katie said, shaking herself out of her thoughts. "I was just thinking about him." Melanie grinned knowingly. Katie rolled her eyes, but a smile crept across her lips. "Maybe don't give me that," Melanie said, leaning in closer. "You've talked about him non-stop since that first date." "Okay, guilty," Katie admitted, then glanced around to ensure no one was listening. "But what does it even mean? He has a daughter to think about. I can't be just a fling." "Who says you have to be a fling? You can take it slow." Melanie paused, her voice softening. "You deserve to put yourself out there. You never know what could happen unless you try." Katie was quiet as she absorbed Melanie's words, something glimmering in her chest, a burgeoning hope twisting into a heartwarming knot. The day passed in a blur of patience and paperwork, but the thought of Alex was like a familiar melody on loop in her mind, soothing yet exhilarating. As the evening sun began its descent, spilling golden light over the city, Katie made her way home, her heart racing with each step toward her apartment. Should she reach out again? Just a casual message? Both excitement and anxiety churned inside her. She opened her phone and hesitated over the keyboard. Should she wait until tomorrow? Just as she almost put her phone down, a message pinged, "Hey. Just finished a long day, thinking about you. Would love to see you again." Her heart soared. Katie smiled, fingers dancing over the screen as she typed back. She felt alive and brimming with possibility. "How about lunch tomorrow? I know a great little cafe." She sent, holding her breath as she awaited his response. The seconds of the wait seemed like an eternity. When his reply appeared, she felt a rush of warmth. "Coffee sounds perfect. Can't wait." Elated, she settled onto her couch, reflecting on everything that had led her to this moment. Maybe she did deserve to step outside her comfort zone. But as the excitement buzzed in her chest, doubt still crept in. The future felt uncertain, and what would his daughter think? Each shift in her emotions felt like walking a tightrope, balancing between fear and hope. But perhaps the real adventure lay in the risk. Did love truly exist within the chaos? Could a nurse's heart find a place where it felt at home? With the thought of tomorrow's lunch swirling in her mind, Katie drifted into sleep, each dream a mix of laughter, hope, and unanswered questions, the biggest of them all looming ever closer. What if love was indeed worth the risk? Tomorrow, she would find out just how tangled their worlds could become. Would they be able to meet the challenge, or would uncertainty seep back in? The following day dawned with a crispness that felt alive with promise. As Katie stood in front of her bathroom mirror, running a brush through her hair, her heart raced in anticipation of meeting Alex. She dressed carefully, opting for a simple yet elegant blouse that made her feel confident. Today was the day she'd let herself be open to new possibilities. The cafe she had in mind was cozy, steeped in the comfort of warm wood and soft lighting. Its aroma of freshly brewed coffee blended with baked goods created a welcoming embrace. She arrived early, nerves twisting in her stomach, each tick of the clock echoing her anxious heartbeat. What if this went poorly? What if they were completely at odds? But then again, what if it went perfectly? When Alex walked in, he looked just as good as she remembered. His warm smile instantly put her at ease. "Hey, you," he said, his voice brightening the dimly lit space. "Hey," Katie replied, trying to appear casual but failing miserably. Her nerves quaked as they both took seats at a small table by the window. They exchanged pleasantries, but as the conversation picked up speed, it became easy to forget the world around them. Alex shared stories about his daughter, Mia, and his fierce devotion to being a good father. Katie listened intently, feeling something soft and tender bloom inside her. His passion for fatherhood was inspiring, and she found herself laughing at his anecdotes of life's little chaos. "So, how do you feel about single dads?" he asked, his tone both light and serious. Katie took a breath. "I think if you're doing your best, that's what really matters. It can't be easy though, balancing everything." She marveled at how he effortlessly diverted the conversation back toward her. "And you? You've got this noble calling, saving lives." "I admire that," he said, his eyes locking onto hers, lingering just a moment longer than comfortable. A warmth spread through her, though a flicker of doubt flickered in the background. "It's challenging," she admitted, "but it's rewarding too. I guess I sometimes worry about prioritizing relationships." He leaned in closer. "You mean so much to others, Katie. It's okay to think of yourself sometimes. What do you want?" Silence blanketed the space for a heartbeat. For the first time, she thought about what she wanted. Beyond the responsibilities, fears, and self-imposed limitations, what was she really chasing? When Mia's name came up again, Katie's heart stuttered. She felt guilt, a whisper of concern nagging at her. Could she step into the role of a figure in Mia's life? She wanted to be part of something honorable, but the thought of potentially disrupting that little girl's world made her hesitate. As if sensing the shift, Alex's expression turned earnest. "I'd never want to rush you into anything. It's about being right for each other, not just for me." Time sped up and slowed down all at once. They spoke, shared, and laughed, but under it all lay an unshakable reality. Could she be the missing piece in Alex's life without overshadowing his responsibilities as a father? As they prepared to leave, Katie's heart was a blend of joy and trepidation. She felt an undeniable connection but was acutely aware of the responsibilities he carried. What if this blossomed into something deep? Would she be ready for it? Can we do this again? He asked, that hopeful spark in his eyes igniting something in her chest. Yeah, I'd do like that, she said, allowing a small smile to bloom on her face. But as they walked out of the cafe, a shadow of doubt whispered inside her, what if Mia didn't approve? What if this was all a beautiful disaster waiting to happen? With unanswered questions swirling around her, Katie's heart thudded in time with uncertainty. She glanced back at Alex, already sensing the depth of their connection, yet unsure if she could bear the weight of what lay ahead. Would love be strong enough to weave their worlds together, or would the reality of single parenthood pull them apart? The real journey was just beginning, and once again, she was left grappling with one burning question: was she ready to embrace the unknown? Katie's mind danced with a whirlwind of thoughts as she walked alongside Alex, the cool air nipping at her cheeks. Each step felt heavier, the excitement of their connection tangled with a profound uncertainty. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was about to tiptoe into a world that she was both curious and terrified about. Want to take a walk? Alex suggested, his eyes sparkling with warmth. Sure, she replied, though she could feel the weight of her worries curling around her. They strolled down the tree-lined street, the sound of fallen leaves crunching beneath their feet creating a comfortable rhythm. Have you lived here long? He asked, his expression open, encouraging her to share. Just a few years, she responded, feeling the need to keep talking to chase away the heavy thoughts. I moved here after nursing school. It's a good place filled with good people. I've lived in this area all my life, he said, glancing around as if each tree and building held memories. It feels like home, doesn't it? Yeah, it really does, she replied, her heart softening. Home was a feeling she often associated with safety and love. Did she dare imagine it alongside someone like Alex, who had a shared history and a daughter? As they paused at a park bench, she noticed the way he smiled at the children, playing a fatherly glow that was both beautiful and daunting. Mia loves the swings, he shared, looking out at the playground. She's not afraid to go as high as she can. It's one of her favorite things. Katie smiled, imagining a little girl giggling as she soared toward the sky. Sounds like she has a brave spirit, she said, warmth spreading through her. Yeah, she does, Alex said, his smile turning slightly wistful. Sometimes I wish I could be as carefree as her. Being a dad must be a juggling act, Katie commented, her heart squeezing for the burden he might carry. It is, but it's worth every bit of effort. He turned, his gaze piercing, and held her eyes. Being a dad is everything to me. But it's also a lot of responsibility. I've tried to make sure Mia has a stable life, despite everything life has thrown at us. Privately, Katie's concern rippled through her. The idea of fitting into their lives made her anxious. What if she stumbled? What if she made things complicated for Mia? Katie, I get it, Alex's voice broke through her thoughts. If I'm asking you to consider something more being in our lives, it's not just about me. It's about Mia too. If you're not comfortable, it's okay to say no. She swallowed hard, needing to answer, but there was an unseen wall between them, the weight of expectations and fears. But at that moment, she also felt something else, the thrill of possibility. I don't want to rush anything, she admitted finally, her voice trembling slightly. I want to see where this goes, but I don't want to hurt Mia. I understand completely. I wouldn't want that either, he assured her, the sincerity in his gaze settling her nerves. I want us to take it slow. We figure things out as we go. Relief washed over her, creating space for hope and excitement to blossom. They may not have all the answers, but they were willing to navigate this journey together. As darkness began to envelope the park, the streetlights flickered on, illuminating the path they walked. It was a sign, in a way, that new destinations lay ahead, even if they had to chart them carefully. Can I ask you something? He said, hesitating for a moment, searching her face. Of course. What are you most afraid of regarding us? The question hung in the cool evening air, heavy yet inviting a challenge. She felt herself breathlessly considering the truth. I'm afraid of what might happen if I let someone in. If I finally open up, she confessed, a small tremor in her voice. What if I fail? What if it hurts more than it helps? As the words slipped from her lips, the vulnerability hung between them. Could they turn this fear into a bridge instead of a barrier? Seeing the compassion in Alex's eyes, Katie felt a small shiver of hope surge within her. I think we take it one step at a time, he said softly, his expression sincere. Yes, one step at a time, she echoed, feeling a flicker of determination land in her chest despite the lingering fears. As they continued to walk, the shadows of self-doubt began to fade, replaced by the comforting glow of new possibilities. But the question lingered, what would those steps lead to? Would they find a way to embrace the future together, or would their fears ultimately drive them apart? The air thickened with anticipation as they continued down the path, the soft glow of the streetlights casting long shadows on the ground. Katie felt the warmth of Alex's presence beside her, a reassuring weight against the uncertainties swirling within. What about you, Alex? She asked, wanting to return the honesty he'd shown. What do you fear in all of this? He paused, hands in pockets, his brow furrowing slightly as if to gather his thoughts. Honestly? I'm afraid of not being enough. For Mia or for you. I've built this life with her, and now, with you, I want to make sure I'm doing it right. Katie felt a rush of empathy. Alex wasn't just a father, he was a man grappling with his own vulnerabilities. It took relentless courage to voice these fears out loud. You're doing a great job with Mia, she replied, her voice steady, trying to lend him the encouragement he clearly needed. That sparkle in your eye when you talk about her says it all. He smiled, the tension in his shoulders easing. Thanks, that means a lot to hear. But love isn't just about being good enough, is it? It's about being present, open and ready to face the messiness of life. Katie nodded, her heart swelling. It was a refreshing perspective even if it gave air to the fears coursing between them. As they walked, a laughter burst forth from the playground where a group of children were chasing one another. The sound echoed around them, and for a moment, their worries faded into the background. She envisioned a future with little feet pounding beside them, a joyous cacophony of shared moments. What would you do if Mia brought home a friend from school? Katie asked, her curiosity piqued. You'd be the cool dad, right? Alex chuckled, and she couldn't help but feel the electric energy of his laugh. I'd try to be the fun dad. You know, backyard barbecue, letting them stay up late to watch movies. His eyes twinkled as he spoke. But I also want to set boundaries. A good balance, I guess. They reached the end of the path, where a clear view of the starlit sky opened up above them. Katie felt tiny against the vastness but also exhilarated, a part of something much larger than herself. Balance is key, she said softly, leaning against a nearby lamp post. Just like, figuring us out. Yeah, Alex replied, stepping a little closer, his gaze locked on hers. There's beauty in the uncertainty. And I can't help but feel connected to you. A gust of wind swept through the park, rustling the leaves. The air around them charged with a tension that was impossible to ignore. Katie's heart raced. What if she began, her voice shaky but resolute, what if we create our own definition of what family means? Not perfect, but real. I want that. Alex's expression shifted, the weight of the moment settled between them. Me too, he said, his voice low and sincere. It's scary, but I want it so badly. Just then, a small voice called out from the playground. Daddy! A little girl came running toward them, her pigtails bouncing with every step. Mia's face lit up when she spotted Alex, and she threw her arms around him. Hey, baby girl! Alex scooped her up, hiding the two of them in a warm embrace. Katie watched, her heart swelling. Mia turned to Katie, eyes wide with curiosity. Who are you? Katie smiled, caught slightly off guard. I'm Katie. Your dad and I were just talking about, swings. Mia giggled, her innocence brightening the moment. I love swings. Wanna come? Katie felt a flutter in her chest as Mia's excitement filled the air. Could this be what she was afraid to embrace? A bond that included laughter, joy, and hearts wide open. Sure, Katie replied, looking at Alex who seemed both proud and nervous. As they walked towards the swings, surrounded by the laughter of children and the promise of new beginnings, she couldn't help but ponder, was she truly ready to dive headfirst into this beautiful mess of a family, or would the weight of her fears pull her back? And just like that, a new question emerged, promising to redefine everything they were building. What would happen when Mia discovered Katie's own hidden struggles? Would it bring them closer, or would it be the very thing that threatened to tear them apart? As they approached the swings, Katie's anxiety swelled with each step. She felt like she was on the edge of a diving board, staring down at the water below. Mia's laughter echoed, a sweet sound that flooded Katie with warmth and dread simultaneously. Could she really be a part of this little girl's life? Hey! Mia exclaimed, her smile as wide as the sky. Race you to the swings. Before Katie could respond, Mia darted ahead, her little legs pumping with unrestrained joy. Wait for me. Katie laughed, her own feet moving instinctively. Alex chuckled behind her, a lightness in his voice that made her pulse quicken as she followed the tiny whirlwind. Mia reached the swings first and climbed aboard, her feet swinging out as she laughed in delight. Katie arrived moments later, breathless but grinning. You're fast. Katie feigned astonishment, catching her breath. Mia beamed, her eyes sparkling in the lamplight. I'm the fastest in my class. Can you push me? Of course. Katie said, stepping behind the swing and giving it a gentle nudge. As Mia soared with laughter, her happiness felt contagious. Each push sent her higher, and Katie felt joy blossom in her heart. Was this what family meant? Unfiltered moments of happiness? But the thought of her own struggles lurked like a shadow, a reminder of potential cracks in this glowing facade. What if Mia sensed her hesitation? What if Alex discovered how frail she sometimes felt? Are you happy, Katie? Mia's voice cut through Katie's spiral of thoughts. It was innocent, direct. Caught off guard, Katie hesitated. Absolutely. Very happy. She kept her tone light, forcing a smile, but the weight of her fears churned inside her. Mia kicked her little feet, climbing higher. I want to go super high. Just like a rocket. Okay. Let's reach for the stars. Katie pushed harder, feeling the exhilaration swell within the little girl. Alex leaned against a nearby post, watching them, a soft smile on his face. There was pride there, mixed with something deeper, something that made Katie's heart flutter. His unspoken support felt like a lifeline. Have you ever been on a rocket, Katie? Mia called out, her wide-eyed innocence a balm for Katie's doubts. Not yet. Katie laughed. But I'd love to try. What do you think? Should we build a rocket together? Yes. Mia squealed, pumping her legs even more. Let us go to the moon. Katie couldn't help but smile at Mia's enthusiasm. All right. First, we need to gather supplies. You gather the stars, and I'll find the fuel. At that moment, the barriers Katie had built around her heart began to crumble. She could lean into this fantasy. Sharing dreams and laughter felt much lighter than confronting fears alone. But as laughter rang out, a sliver of doubt remained in the back of her mind. Was she just playing a part? Would the weight of the truth come crashing down when Mia grew older and realized how fragile life could be? Suddenly, Alex joined them, kneeling beside the swings. Mia, how about I give you the biggest push ever? Are you ready? Yes. she shouted, excitement bubbling over, cartwheeling through their moment. Katie watched Alex with admiration, wondering how he balanced being a dad and everything else. She felt a twinge of longing. Could she ever fit into this family, with all her imperfections? As Alex swung Mia higher, Katie's heart raced. The theoretical began to feel more real. Were they building something together? Or was it just a mirage? Hey, Katie, Alex said, glancing her way as Mia squealed. What do you think? Should we take off for the moon later this week? The hopeful tone in his voice made her pulse quicken, but the voice of caution whispered wildly within her. I don't know, she started, but Alex's eyes stayed focused on her, compelling her to go on. Before she could finish, Mia shouted, let us go to the moon today. In that moment, Katie could almost see the stars aligning. But as she pondered the bigger picture, the undercurrents tugged at her heart. What if the truth broke this fragile dream before it had a chance to soar? Can we really do this? She found herself asking as uncertainty colored her voice, and as the stars twinkled above them, she felt the weight of their shared dreams, each one a possibility waiting to unfurl. But what of the truth she so carefully guarded? Would it catapult them into something beautiful or send them plummeting into the unknown? Katie felt the world tilt just a bit as she faced Alex. The anticipation in his gaze sparked a mix of excitement and dread within her. Could they really make it to the moon? Or was that just another fleeting daydream? The echo of Mia's laughter felt like a lifeline, pulling her towards the promise of joy. What do you think, Katie? Alex's voice was steady, warm. Mia is ready for this adventure. It could be fun. Katie found herself searching his eyes, those depths holding too many questions. I think it sounds amazing, she stammered, stumbling over the invisible barriers in her mind. But what? Alex prompted gently. She drew in a breath, steadying herself. But what if Mia doesn't understand? I mean, things aren't always perfect. I don't want to let her down. Her voice wavered, the shadows creeping back. Alex's expression softened. She loves joy, Katie. Children thrive in laughter and imagination. That's the magic of being a kid. Katie wanted to believe him. She wanted to let herself fully embrace this moment, away from her worries. Okay, let us do it. Let us build our rocket. Yay! Mia shouted, her tiny hands clapping. We're going to the moon. They gathered random objects scattered around the playground: a cardboard box, a chipped hula hoop, a few brightly colored balloons. Even in their attempts to create something fantastical, they were just pieces of everyday life transformed into dreams. Mia led the charge, her face radiating with happiness. Look, Katie. This can be our rocket's door. She said, holding up the cardboard box as if it were a treasure. Katie couldn't help but smile. And this, she pointed to the hula hoop, is definitely the launch pad. She glanced at Alex, who was nodding with every proclamation, his eyes shining with pride. As they worked together, laughter bounced between them, stitching their hearts closer. A warmth spread through Katie, lighting a small fire of hope. Perhaps she could be part of something beautiful, something vibrant. But the shadows of her fears loomed, whispering doubts. She was reminded of her past, the struggles, the moments where she felt utterly alone. What if Mia found out about those pieces of her life? What if she couldn't handle the weight of those truths? Are we ready for takeoff? Alex asked, his voice filled with enthusiasm, drawing her back to the present. Let us count down. Mia jumped gleefully, oblivious to the storm brewing inside Katie. 3, 2, 1, blast off. They shouted together, raising their arms in the air, laughter spiraling into the night. In that fragile moment, Katie felt something. Maybe it was hope, or maybe it was just the warmth of connection. She began to believe she could soar if they all lifted each other, if they built their dreams together, no matter how shaky her own foundation felt. As the night deepened, Mia rested her head against Katie's shoulder, her world so bright, so pristine. Katie, you're my best friend, she murmured, her voice a soft lullaby. Me too, Mia, Katie replied, wrapping an arm around her. But her heart sank a little. Could she truly be that for Mia, a dependable friend? Would she always be able to bring joy where the shadows lurked? What about Alex? Can I be his friend too? Mia asked suddenly, her sleepy eyes sparkling. Oh, I think he'd be like that, Katie chuckled, casting a quick glance at Alex. He was watching them, a bittersweet smile tugging at his lips. Before Katie could linger on the complexity of her emotions, Alex spoke up. You both are incredible. I think we're building something special here, aren't we? Katie nodded, feeling the warmth of belonging encircle her. But just as warmth filled her heart, worry began to creep in. Was it really okay to blend their two lives? What if her reality shattered their moment? Let us make sure our rocket is strong enough, she murmured, feeling the weight of the truth press against her chest. Where would that truth take them, and would they still want to fly together once they found out? As they turned back to their creation, air thick with possibilities, Katie couldn't shake the feeling that her secrets were still hanging above them like unyielding clouds. Would they ever make it to the moon, or would the truth ground them unexpectedly? The moon loomed large in Katie's mind as she watched Mia and Alex fit the final pieces into their makeshift rocket. The glow from the streetlights cast a warm hue across their little assembly, each shadow teasing at the vulnerabilities she kept close. Do you think we'll see the stars up there? Mia giggled, watching the balloons sway in the evening breeze, her imagination painting vibrant pictures. Oh, absolutely. Alex replied, putting on a playful grin. We might even find other astronauts waiting for us. Katie smiled at Alex, grateful for his ability to keep the spirit alive. Yet, beneath her cheerful facade, dread curled like a vine tightening around her heart. Okay, what's the first thing we'll do when we get there? She asked, redirecting her swirling thoughts. We'll have a moon picnic. Mia exclaimed, her eyes bright with excitement. And we'll bring all my favorite snacks. Katie's lips curved into a genuine smile at the image of Mia munching on cookies while floating among the stars. How about an unlimited supply of chocolate chip cookies? She suggested, bending down to meet Mia's gaze. Yes. Mia squealed, her laughter dancing in the air. Alex chuckled, leaning back against the cardboard contraption. You might need to eat one in a space suit, though, he added, fueling Mia's giggles further. As bubbly laughter filled the air, Katie's heart fluttered with a longing she hadn't expected. Their joy felt contagious, warming her from the inside. But as quickly as it bloomed, her worries rose again, shadows creeping back to taint the moment. Hey, do you think, she hesitated, glancing between them, that all of our wishes really come true in space? Like, could we leave behind everything that makes us sad? Alex met her gaze, and for a moment, the weight of unspoken truths hung between them. Maybe, he said softly. But sometimes, it's those experiences that help us grow. They can shape us, teach us to reach for the stars. Katie sighed, uncertainty swirling like autumn leaves caught in a gust of wind. But what if they're too heavy to carry? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Mia glanced at Katie, her innocent eyes searching for answers. We can carry them together. You told me we're a team. She declared, her little fists clenched in determination. A warmth washed over Katie, heart swelling with Mia's unwavering faith. Could it really be that simple? Could they tackle the weight of their experiences as a team, with laughter illuminating the darkness? Okay, let us try, Katie replied, forcing confidence into her tone. She stood taller, brushing away her lingering fears. Together, we can face anything. Ready to launch? Alex's voice brought her back to the moment, the lightness returning. Yes. Katie said, her heart racing with renewed hope. 3, 2, 1, they shouted again, MIA echoing the countdown, the three of them dauntless dreamers for a moment turned astronauts. As the final notes of laughter faded into the night, a deep nervousness gripped Katie. What if their flight was only a fleeting escape from truth? Katie's thoughts raced as she watched the children's joy, the ghosts of her past dancing just beyond their laughter. Was she strong enough to embrace their mission, or did the truth still threaten to ground them? What do you think will happen when we land, Katie? Mia asked suddenly, breaking the silence. That question hung in the air, daring Katie to confront her fears. Would they still want her around when the truth lay bare and vulnerable, waiting to be seen? The gaze of Alex met hers, full of understanding and perhaps, acceptance, but still, uncertainty loomed. Could she trust this moment? As thoughts twisted and turned, a soft breeze carried their laughter into the night, mixing with the city's whispers. Katie could feel the cool night air wrap around her, a contrast to the warmth that filled her heart. Could they really launch to an unknown orbit and return unscathed? Or would the journey reveal cracks they weren't prepared to face? As the moon shone brightly above them, reflecting on all that they might become, she wondered just how far could dreams carry them, and at what cost. As the last remnants of daylight faded into the velvet sky, Katie found herself sitting on a park bench, gazing at Mia on the swings, her laughter echoing like music. Each joyful shout from the little girl struck a chord within her, softening the edges of her apprehensions. Next to her, Alex lounged casually, a warm smile on his face, his eyes glimmering with pride as he watched his daughter soar higher into the night. In this moment, everything felt possible. Yet, the weight of her fears pressed against her ribcage, threatening to squeeze the happiness from her heart. How could she truly belong here, with all her imperfections? How could she be the woman they both needed when she herself felt so fragile? Looking at Mia, she understood, giving her heart fully meant unveiling hidden truths. Would they still accept her when she revealed the struggles that shattered her spirit? "Hey," Alex said softly, breaking her reverie. He shifted closer, bridging the gap between them, the warmth of his presence grounding her. "You all right?" "Yeah," she lied, forcing her voice to sound steady. But she felt the tremor under her skin. Truth should rest between them, shouldn't it? "Just thinking. About the rocket?" He chuckled lightly. "Or maybe about us?" The way he looked at her made her pulse quicken. She could feel the weight of shared dreams thrumming in the air between them. And yet, that familiar anxiety crept back in endless questions, swirling like autumn leaves caught in a gust. Could love be as simple as laughing with a child, exchanging fleeting moments of joy? "Mia deserves someone who is brave," Katie admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "What if I ruin her world by stepping into it?" "Ruining it?" he repeated, his brow furrowing. "I see you bringing her joy, like you did just now. The laughter, the imagination, it's magical. But what if she finds out I'm not perfect?" Katie's voice cracked, revealing the cracks in her heart. What if I can't be there for both of you when it truly matters?" Alex searched her eyes, a hint of understanding illuminating his gaze. "We're all a little broken, you know. But it doesn't mean we can't build something beautiful together. What matters is that we keep trying, that we're honest. Kids are resilient." Katie felt a flicker of hope rise in her chest, igniting a spark. Perhaps it wasn't about being perfect at all. It was the strength found in vulnerabilities that could create bonds deeper than anything else. Taking a deep breath, she cast her fears aside, if only for a moment. "I've struggled a lot in my life," she began, feeling the weight of truth rise in her throat. "Between nursing and my mom's illness, I often feel like I'm just trying to keep my head above water. I don't want to project that onto Mia, I want her to feel light." Alex nodded, his eyes steady and sincere. "You don't have to carry it alone. She's bright enough to know love, support, and community. A healthy family doesn't mean unity in perfection. You can show her that strength can exist alongside vulnerability." His words wrapped around her heart, a soothing balm. The night seemed quieter now, the soft rustle of leaves weaving the threads of hope and challenge together. "We can try, can't we?" Katie asked, a cautious smile spreading across her lips. "Definitely," he replied without hesitation. "And who knows? Maybe those imperfections will help shape something remarkable for all of us." Energy pulsed through her as she turned to look at Mia. The girl's joyful shrieks rang out, propelling her higher on the swings, her small fists held tightly in the air as if conquering the very sky. Katie's heart swelled with affection, with awe. That little girl had a spirit that dared to dream, to fly, and perhaps, in doing so, she could teach Katie the power of embracing life head-on. "What about you, Katie?" Alex said gently, breaking through her thoughts again. "What do you want?" It was the question that resonated through her heart. She set her gaze back to Alex, breathing in the moment. "I want to be part of this. I want something real with imperfections and laughter. I just need time." "Time we can take," Alex replied, his voice calm and inviting. "We'll have our challenges, but it'll be worth it. Together." Standing, he extended his hand, a simple gesture that ignited something in her soul. Taking it, Katie felt warmth flow between them, binding their paths tighter. As they approached Mia, the girl's radiant smile pierced through any remnants of doubt that lingered in Katie's heart. "Can we build more rockets together, Katie?" Mia exclaimed, her joy infectious. "Absolutely." Katie laughed, feeling every ounce of heaviness fall away. "We'll build the biggest rocket the world has ever seen." And just like that, surrounded by laughter and love, Katie let the warmth of acceptance and hope fill her heart. With Alex and Mia by her side, the sky above transformed from a vast unknown into a canvas painted with future possibilities. The moon shone brightly above them, a beacon of uncharted dreams. She would embrace this journey, laden with uncertainties, as they built their own definition of family, one filled with joy, vulnerability, and the courage to weather any storm. Step by step, they would reach for the stars, together. Now, as the night deepened, each heartbeat brought them closer to a shared promise, a promise not of perfection but of love, laughter, and an unbreakable bond forged through life's messy beauty. Don't wait not even one more second. Subscribe immediately to our channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the magic alive. Comment your reactions and feelings about this heartfelt ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel, so take action.